Alrighty, lads, you're with Budget Monk, and the year is 1648. I just hit that Spanish button, and the reason I hit the Spanish button is for the memes, lads. I was procrastinating hitting it. There is a meantime happen event that gives culture conversion reduction to your ruler. However, there we go. There's that beautiful Spanish Iberia. We've integrated Burgundy, and we just won our second war against Austria. Unfortunately, guys, I give up. I have given up on this run from this position. I have a lot of experience in this game, and I feel as though I could conquer the world. I really feel we're in position to conquer the world on very hard difficulty. However, being early enough to actually one culture the world, that means one faithing the world, converting everything to our religion. It means having the Diplo points. It means being ahead of time to get rid of the separatism and ahead of time to actually convert the provinces. Absolutely brutal and formidable, and I actually give up. So that's right, it's going to be a 1444. And with that being said, guys, there is a couple things that I've learned here from this run. One of which is that we're more limited, believe it or not, by actually having the various areas to culture convert, as opposed to actually having the monarch points. Like, I could almost spend my Diplo that I have here, and keep in mind that we're essentially ahead in Diplo. Like, we could easily backtrack, delay, and spend many more without with stalling. But I could almost convert everything that I can possibly convert here, completely ignoring the adjacent bonus and everything, as you can see. So it's definitely something to consider, is that we simply did not expand fast enough, in a sense, this game. That's one thing. Now, another thing is the Dominicus is absolutely ridiculously overpowered. The Holy Order Dominicans. This is really good. I'm going to try to demonstrate that. It's kind of difficult to do so, because I need to find an area where we have not applied them, and I have stated it up. How about we go ahead and just state up an area like this, and I'll try to demonstrate that to you guys. Go ahead and look at the amount that this actually costs, guys. In order to apply the Holy Order, it costs 50 Diplo. Not only does it cost 50 Diplo, but it actually increases the development by 1 in every single province, which is obviously pretty good. Because, you know, this one province takes 60 Diplo, for example, to improve. This is 42. So to pay 50 and improve this by 4 production in the state is very nice. However, considering it costs so many points, you would think the 30% reduction is not very relevant, but we have learned just how relevant it is. And the reason it is relevant is because it multiplies with the other modifiers as opposed to being additive and just adds to them. So we can see that this is already 40 and this is 32. So let's pretend that we've paid for that. This is 22, 42, and 35. Let's do a bit of a comparison. 22, 42, 35 to convert this area. Take a look at this. We spend 50. Do you see what I'm saying? Insane. Insane. So to convert all 4 plus 50 is actually cheaper than converting those 3 provinces. So that is something we've learned, and I'm really going to try to take advantage of this by actually, instead of perhaps cultural converting provinces, I'm going to try to first and foremost add the Dominicans to various regions. What else we can do is actually, when we state up an area, or we begin with a state like Galicia, maybe later on we can replace it with a state that we can do so we can state up, quote unquote, freely, because we've integrated a nation like Burgundy, and we can just unstate this and then apply the Dominicans to a new state. So those are the 2 things we can take advantage of, and yes, I'm going to be 1444ing. Alrighty, lads, here we are in a brand new game here. So I want to talk a little bit about what I have planned, because I've thought a lot about this, guys, and the tactic was really cool. It's really cool. I actually wanted to form Rome and actually experience releasing them all as colonial nations that were Roman culture and have them flesh themselves out and reap the rewards of that. However, there were some serious pains that we endured, including feeling unable to take offensive because I needed the CB from religious and so on. And I was quite frankly sick of being weak. I was sick of being exhausted in my manpower, weak financially, spending 10 plus ducats on colonies and not really reaping the rewards in the sense that we should have. Being split up, divided in all sorts of different theaters. I'm sick of it. And we're going to go straight up Napoleonic on some bitch asses, okay, boys? That's all I'm saying. Forget the New World. Okay, we're going to be taking religious, rushing this down. I'm hoping to rush it down and to actually take innovativeness because we're further ahead. I'm not worried about the shenanigans with Portugal. Let him colonize. Why? Because we're going to be integrating him. I'm not worried about the shenanigans with Spain. I mean, maybe we can time forming Spain to where we have a relatively young ruler to take advantage of that modifier. We can convert cultures, but I'm not going to obsess over it. Why? Because I want to be powerful. I want to get these states. I want to move my trade center to Genoa. I want to feed Aragon and integrate it freely. So, we're going for a big ball of plays, boys. I'll still probably feed Portugal to some extent, because I don't want to spend my own admin initially in the beginning of the game, because we're going to be rushing religious. However, we will be integrating Portugal after that 50 years has passed ASAP, and I'm also going to allow him to colonize, which means maybe he'll set up one small colonial nation which we can take advantage of. But like I said, we're not going colonial ourselves. I'm going to be, after that, taking influence. Influence is going to be really important for the deploy annexation cost reduction because we have a heavy deploy annexation cost game. We're going to be integrating inevitably Naples, Portugal, England, and Austria. Those are the P's you get for free. But what I'm also hoping is if that we can rush influence, then our reputation will be high. We'll go for an offensive next because it's freaking OP. And then we will probably go for diplomatic at that point. So that's more relations, that's diplomats, and more reputation. But that beautiful provincial war score is relevant for the entire game. That's going to allow our reputation to be extremely high, and we're going to be gunning it this time for that big Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth personal union as well. My plan with England, Austria, and the PLC in particular is to integrate them much later in the game where we have massive admin efficiency. But still, having that 25% throughout the entire course of the game is going to be really relevant here. But of course, it's inevitably, we need this for the actual policy, which we're going to get really early between religious and influence for 20%, plus this being 25% cultural conversion cost reduction. So we're going to be really efficient in regards to cultural conversion cost from the beginning of the game, although that's not necessarily my 100% priority. Like I said, first thing we'll do is go ahead and drop the Holy Order, the Dominicans, left, right, and center. Now, of course, as Castile, we do have the one colonist, and the area that I intend to use those on, or that one colonist on, is trading company areas. We're going to be all about the old world, boys. That's where it's at. And you might be wondering, Monk, what are we going to do in regards to, culturally converting the new world? Well, I revealed to you guys what it is that I plan to do in the first session of this series, I suppose, and I've changed my style. If you guys want to see what we're going to do, the solutions that I've come up with, let's just say it's going to be pretty interesting. Yes, we're doing a Roman one culture, so we will be forming Rome at some point. However, I have no intention to hurry to PU England or Austria or any other provinces required to form Rome. We'll get them eventually. We're going to go slow. We're going to be 100% based out of Europe, and I'm going to be doing the colonial regions last. So I've got a lot of different tactics that we're going to employ to actually do that, but I've got a further announcement, guys. I'm hyped for this. Not only are we going to do this, not only are we going to one culture on very hard difficulty with no save scumming and no exploits whatsoever, including Diplo banking, but we're not going to, well, we are going to do a one tag as well. When I completed it previously on very hard difficulty, the one culture, I was actually disappointed how I let myself down, how I celebrated too early, and how I dropped and ballsed up the one tag. So this is my chance to redeem myself, and you might think I'm an absolute mad lad. Well, I'm more confident, guys. I'm more confident with this approach. I think that was an interesting run, the one that we did. We failed, but I'm confident going hard, playing a powerful nation like Castile, let's be honest, OP, being able to take advantage of all of the personal unions and so on, and I actually have solutions to get this done. I think we can do it. I'm really hyped and excited, and yes, it's going to be a one tag as well. I'm really looking forward to it. It's really, truly the game of games, and look at this dude. Look at this dude. He knows, boys. Look at him. What better nation to do it with than the mighty Castilian Spain, boys. I'm hyped. Looking forward to it. Here we are, lads. I actually tried to upload a YouTube video announcing those various things and promote my stream. However, YouTube was a complete pain in the ass. It's been so painful lately. I hate being a YouTuber, quite frankly. It deleted my video multiple times. There's something wrong with the video that it doesn't like, despite me not swearing or anything like that. They don't give you any feedback. They didn't demonetize my video. They literally deleted my video, and what can you do? So anyway, you guys missed out here on the first stream, at least, over on the YouTube side of things, but keep in mind, right after posting this video, I'm going to be live continuing. So we went from 1444 to 1474 here, guys, and look at our beautiful state. Unfortunately, we do have 2 over our relation slots. However, you can see how high my Diplo is. We're playing catch-up mechanic with our Diplo technology, and I've converted the vast majority of everything. This is the only province I can actually convert to Castilian already. So we've played the Dominicans everywhere I can, and yeah, these are in the process of being converted. So we're doing just about as well as we possibly could in regards to being efficient with Diplo points. I don't really, I'm not worried about being over my Diplo relations so much right now, because it's a matter of how inefficient are we going to be. Like, if we tick up right now with a 24% as opposed to stalling, that's inefficient. If I develop my goal, which I plan to do to strengthen my country, that's inefficient. There's really no way that I can really be efficient with these Diplo points. So I'm happy to have these 2 strong allies, one being Austria here with a extra powerful Hungary under a personal union. That's amazing news, guys. My music's on, shut up. That is amazing news, because clearly Austria here he bodes well to be having a good game and be a big powerful Austria, and that's more that we can PU. Really happy to see that Poland didn't do something really stupid like abandon the personal union, so it looks like we're going to have a Commonwealth as well. And by some miracle, it's actually somewhat to our disadvantage. He's not rivaling the Ottomans, but perhaps that means he won't die. If the PLC does decline, it's typically the Ottomans that actually begin that. They're a catalyst to kind of destroying them. Otherwise, you can see that we've got the Iberian wedding here. Nice. And the extra strong Portugal. Again, we will be forming Spain this time. And you do not require to own this land. It just needs to be owned by a Catholic. So, looking mighty good here. Portugal is colonizing. Perfectly good. And the North Africa is relatively balkanized. The Ottomans are being a little bit obnoxious there with their diplomacy. However, I've got some methods here that we're actually going to break through, because Morocco really declined. So I'm going to go ahead and just fabricate a claim the old-fashioned way on Sousse, and then separate peace Morocco. What we can do actually, well, yeah, I'll separate peace Morocco, break this alliance here, but yeah, we have to start barrel rolling our way through Africa, guys. That's the plan, because I'm just about to complete religious ideas and get that Deus Vult. Look how close we are. And then I'm going to be dumping my admin into expanding in North Africa in particular, because that's somewhere we can get away with. To anybody who does not know, there is no longer the Berber traditions increasing core cost in North Africa, so that is spectacular. No harm in barrel rolling our way through here. That's exactly what I plan to do. And who knows, if I can't discover anything because I don't have exploration, I will colonize inland, my way to West Africa with our 1 colonist, which we will obtain inevitably. However, I'm really looking forward to actually obtaining my next idea group, because that's going to give us some relief in order to efficiently spend our Diplo points, and the relations, of course, are going to set us up for the future. Speaking of which, we do have one relation which potentially will be eliminated on the horizon, that is Gascony. So, look at this beautiful Gascony here. We kind of blocked out France by attacking England initially, and we only have 1 ally that is actually rivaling France. He actually doesn't have any other relevant enemies, because unfortunately England and Burgundy are both rivaling us. So there's very little use we can make out of those 2. As far as Muscovy is concerned, I guess it's a good thing that they're rivaling France. We might see ourselves allying them as well in the future. We might be able to pull that off. However, from my experience, even with favors, the distance of wars is just too much in the beginning of the game. They won't help you there, so that's irrelevant. I might attack France if he mans up on Burgundy and he's fighting a war like the Savoy, Ferrara, Holland, Mecklenburg, Burgundy. If he mans up, if he has the courage to do it, then I might go ahead and call Austria in. Once we have the favors, we've got 6 favors here, and we get, we were on the verge of getting 1 every 2 years, but we currently get 1 every 3 years. So if we could just get a little bit more powerful, we would get them even more rapidly. But, yeah, otherwise, what I am thinking is I'm currently using my claim off of claims bonus to try to claim my way through here. You can't claim through your own subject. Over to the Papal State, and I'm trying to expand into the Genoan region. The Papal State looks like a good victim here. That, again, we're on very hard difficulty, so this is a little bit formidable, but I feel like it's also realistic that we can do it. And we're just going to casually distribute our aggressive expansion just a little bit in Europe and a little bit in North Africa, or maybe quite a lot in North Africa and West Africa and so on. But that's one reason I'm really eagerly looking at this reconquest, is because the aggressive expansion is low. But that's pretty much it, boys. Really hyped. Game's going well so far. And I forgot to mention, we've got Queen Isabella again. So to anybody who thinks I've got god tier luck or anything like that, just keep in mind that I really desperately tried to one-shot this. I'm not going for any kind of crazy RNG. I don't want the Burgundian inheritance or anything like that. I really tried, guys, to just one-shot this and roll with whatever I was getting. But however, I actually played a game for like 3 hours where I didn't even get the Iberian wedding. I mean, in this current dynamic of the game where you can disinherit your rulers and so on, that's pretty unlucky. That's really pretty unlucky, where it was actually going to be, unless like thunder struck twice, we were actually going to get out of the date and range that we could even get the Iberian wedding. So I just started again. Keep in mind, this was my second attempt. However, we got Queen Isabella after, there's only a 5-year window nowadays since patch 1.28, and we got her in like the last month, something like that. It was crazy. She doesn't have particularly the best traits imaginable, but she does have those good stats, and more importantly, being a legitimate queen, she actually procced the Iberian wedding instantaneously. So here we are, boys, off to a great start again, and this time, as opposed to just dumping tons and tons of cash, I'm trying to save up my money to embrace the Renaissance, dumping cash into investing, into colonial investments. Instead, we're going to annex this stuff, incorporate it, expand out here. My plan, guys, is to completely and utterly dominate Safi, or alternatively, have Portugal and Aragon being the only nations with influence there. And all of the wealth in Safi will automatically come out even without having a merchant there. In my other game, which is about 150 years later, there's about 10 ducats in this area. So just having that trickle autonomously or self-autonomously into Seville and into Genoa is part of my plan, and the same approach with Tunis. I'm hoping to barrel my way all the way across North Africa, Africa in general, and actually break our way into Cairo, and which is obviously relevant to form Rome, and the Holy Lands, Mecca and Jerusalem. We'll see if we can beat the Ottomans there, huh, guys? Get those extra missionaries. But another thing about this game is that we will actually be converting provinces with this approach where we can expand, and that's satisfying because the religious situation was becoming really intimidating. In the other games, all of Europe had fallen to the Protestant Reformation. If I can begin expanding and converting, in this game in particular, Africa and the African regions, or regions in general, to our religion, that's going to be really satisfying and boon my confidence as well. So wish me the best of luck, guys. We're basically going for the most epic and just brutal, prosperous Spanish game of all time. I just basically want to one-tag the world ahead of time and then work on the rest of my shenanigans and my tactics to actually convert the rest up. But that's it. I will just say so I plan to go religious influence, offensive, probably diplomatic at that point, and then probably quality at that point. Then probably administrative, just to get the core reduction cost, and, you know, the rest is whatever. With that being said, I did opt to take religious, even though I really like the idea of rushing innovative. Just because religious is so good for that day assault. We need a CB. The sooner the better. And also, I was under the impression that if we rushed religious in this fashion, we could get innovativeness. If we just 100% focus our admin, you can see the only province I've taken is Tangiers, and by taken I mean we had to core up. However, I did get the innovativeness from this, but the plan was to take influence next, and I've noticed something really interesting, guys, is like hardly any nations ever take influence, which is crazy. Like, they just genuinely don't take influence. It's like an idea group that doesn't exist in the game. However, when I established that thought process, and therefore we would go for influence second, and that would be another 7 innovativeness, I'm usually playing Austria. Dun, dun, dun. He takes influence some of the time, the mighty emperor. So there we go. I'm gutted. I'm disappointed about that. Yeah, what can I say? I suspect our innovativeness will not be truly epic this game, as it will be very difficult to take an idea group to generate innovativeness again. What we may do is just tick up ahead of time. I might lean towards that. I really like spending militia points when you're ahead to actually farm professionalism by hiring generals, and you typically seem to get a pretty good general as well, even if your tradition's not that high, by just rolling them tons of times. But yeah, maybe we should respect innovativeness more, considering it is point cost reduction and therefore cultural conversion cost. But that's it, boys. This is the game. I hope you guys are hyped. I'm streaming right after posting this video if you guys actually want to come say hi. Appreciate you, and I'll update you in the future.